Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tampa Bay Cop Talk. I'm Darius Thigpen.
I'm Andrew Salcedo. I was pointing at David. He didn't see it. I was pointing at him.
There we go. All right, we got it. We got it in. We're good to go. This is Tampa Bay Cop Talk, and we are getting ready for Liverpool and Manchester City at the weekend. Before we look ahead to the City game coming up, Liverpool coming off of a wonderful, a beautiful, a magnificent 3 points in the Champions League. Oh, not one, not two, not three, not four. An unbelievable turnout for Liverpool in that match against Atalanta. Oh my gosh, guys, where do we start? I mean, do we go Diogo Jota? Do we go front three? Do we go, just the defense? It was amazing. Andrew, you were worried about these guys. Atlanta coming in. So what'd you think after that first leg in Italy?
So Atlanta came in hot. And listen, we whooped ass. But at the same time, it's not like they played bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it was a 5-0 drubbing where, they had no shots on target or nothing like that. Alisson hadn't made a few saves. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things that if someone else was in goal like myself, it could have been a tight game. But no, all joking around. No, we've played fantastic. And to quote Dave Chappelle, it's like, what did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Good reference.
Slap.
Yeah.
Slap, baby, slap. That's what we did. I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. So hopefully we can do it. And again, it's one step closer to qualification. It's one step closer to the group, winning the group, and then, one step closer to resting homies. So that at the end of the day, and then we have one eye on City. It brings some of those players. It gives a little bit more confidence looking at Jota and Genie as well. So, we'll see. But I think there's nothing negative to be said going into as big a match as we have against City on Sunday. So, and again, another positive aspect, Tuesday to Sunday is much better than Wednesday to Sunday. In terms of recovery, I'm not a medical person, but I'm going to venture a guess that that's not fake news.
Quick maths. Yeah. It was a wonderful performance. What you see out of the front three, just they looked like they were an experienced group playing with each other, David. And it was nice to see just how well Diogo Jota fit in, because coming into the year, we're like, oh, spending a lot of money on this guy. Maybe he's going to be kind of an ancillary, but he's going to be behind Takumi Minamino at the start. And now it's legitimately looking at him like, well, do you drop him at this point? Because he has 6 goals in just the last 10 days of competition.
Yeah, no, he's definitely had he's the hot hand, right? He's had a great start. He adds something that's just a different enough from the rest of the front three that teams really just don't know how to cope with him in our system yet. He'll probably cool off at some point, but as long as, I look at that performance, we were excellent in the back. The fullbacks were both class before they went off, Robertson and Trent. And then I thought our midfield was fantastic. I thought Hendo and Wijnaldum were great. And as long as those guys are all, as long as the fullbacks and the midfielders are putting in shifts like that, he'll continue to get loads of service. He'll be on the ball quite a bit. There'll be good balls into space. So it's just about whether or not he can stay hot finishing wise. But man, yeah, it was great performance by him. Mo was fantastic on the night. Probably should have had 2 goals. Yeah, it's funny because I heard a lot of people talking about our form right before that, and now none of them are talking about our form.
Yeah. So. No, a 5-0 win will do that for you. Not without going through and breaking down every single goal. You kind of look at the way that they scored those goals. You see a lot more of the counter break for Liverpool that you don't really get to see nearly as much in the Premier League. So maybe you can go and say, look at the competition. Atalanta are a team that do give up chances, but Liverpool took their chances well, and the finishing was fantastic. Andrew, you look like you want to kind of jump in, but it was a performance that you would expect out of 2017, 2018 Liverpool. Maybe not necessarily the team we've seen over the last 2 years.
Spot on, but it's also simple to say, look, the last few games, probably Ajax aside, Sheffield United and West Ham, it's not like they opened up and gave us a lot of space, right? So this was the first opponent where we faced where it's like, oh, you're gonna come at us, you're gonna go toe to toe like Leeds United. Okay, you're gonna give us space. Okay, let's see what we can do to you. and we were obviously deadly on the night. But look, I've said it on the podcast before, a few weeks. You can play the clip. 40 goals. He's on pace. That's it. Do the math. He's on pace. Mr. Jota, he's got what, 6, 5, 4, 3,
7
2, 1?
on the season already.
7.
Yeah.
So do the math. 33 more. There's probably more than 33 games left. So it's gonna happen. I wonder what the odds are in Vegas. No, jokingly aside, he'll get 45. So he'll be fine.
3 in the Premier League for him, and now 4 in the Champions League. Just an unbelievable showing to see a hat trick out of him. But David, you did mention the fact that the defense, they were challenged by an Atalanta team that we saw them go deep in the Champions League last year, a team that is a very front foot team, almost to their detriment. Maybe you could say they were a little leaky at the back because they were so intent on going forward. But you didn't really see too many of those times where a ball goes through and you got a bunch of guys yelling and screaming at each other. It looked really organized for the most part. Hiccup here or there, but nothing that would really give you too much of a cause for concern, given the fact that it was a makeshift back line.
Yeah, well, I mean, we weren't too makeshift. I mean, just aside from Reece. But, I
feel like that's a pretty significant piece, though.
It is. Of course it is. But I think also, one of the things I've kind of realized through this is how much Gomez needs a really sort of responsible, careful center back next to him. And Van Dijk is just this way, but he brings so much else to the table. Typically, though, a more conservative center back, kind of a traditional center back, will set what you might call it, good in the air, going to get their head on a lot of balls, not going to mess around, just get it out when they need to. Maybe that doesn't necessarily fit into the current mold of what you'd want for a Liverpool back line. But I think that's kind of what Gomez needs, is kind of a no-nonsense, just get it out kind of person next to him, and that's where he'll thrive. We've seen 2 back-to-back performances where I think center back partner really brought that to the table, in Reece Williams and Nat Phillips right before that. We'll see what happens next. Matip's back. But yeah, I just thought it was a nice cohesive performance. I think having Allison back there, you just see such a difference in the cohesion. And yeah, let's not forget, this is like a Atalanta team that soccer hipsters have been having a big wank over for about the last year and a half, 2 years. So, I mean,
I'm just imagining like people, sure. I'm just imagining people in Brooklyn like, oh, bro. Like,
let's remember that City went to their place last year and only got a 1-1 draw. Now, I'm sure, and I get it, there was fans there. It's a different game, but nonetheless, they went down there, only got a 1-1 draw. So, don't tell me that Atalanta shit. Like they're not.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
They had a decent run last year, and they're back. They were in top 4 again in Serie A. It's not like it's the easiest place in the world to get. It's still one of the top 5 leagues. This is not a bullshit side that we just played. And, this kid in the back really showed up and has proven that maybe he's a little bit more ready. With each game, he just proves that he's a little bit more ready than we thought. And it's
and I think and I think it's a great story in terms of like, I don't remember who I said this to, but something like, it's kind of like that Robertson story where, he was eating curry watching Champions League final, and the next year he's in the final kind of thing. And like, this could be, the beginnings of that story for Reece, where last year he was playing non-league football, and now he's playing the Champions League away in Italy, part of a 5-0 performance in the back line. Albeit he's not the main man, so to speak, in terms of defense, but
doesn't have to.
The point is, he's not doing anything wrong, and that's all you can ask for. If he's being average, that's great. The dude's 19.
Yeah, because the truth
is, he's a baby. He literally can't vote. Sorry, he can't drink in the United States. He's a baby. All right,
yeah.
He's a child. He's a teenager. It's fine.
And like you said, sometimes that's all you can ask for. And
yeah.
I'd say at the moment, that's really all you need. I think Joe Gomez is fantastic most of the time. Look at our center back, or look at our fullbacks. Look at our goalkeeper. Probably one, top 2 keepers in the world.
Exactly.
When you've got a good, solid defensive midfielder in there, the kid doesn't have to be amazing. He just has to
exactly. And let me quote the main man that's on your shirt, Mr. Klopp, Herr Klopp. I was being a little bit of a nerd today. I was watching Sky Sports Retro channel, and the dude was like, in an interview, he was like, "Listen, homie." He was like, "You don't need to be a world-class player to be part of a world-class team. It's as simple as that. I mean, I don't think he said average, but he was like, you can basically be an average player, but be part of a world-class team because, like, that's how shit works. So, again, he could be that average player. He can be the guy. Like, that guy. It's totally fine. So we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
One last note on the defense.
At least in the group stage.
One last note on the defense. 98 goals for Atalanta in Serie A last season. They finished third in Serie A, and they upped their goal scoring record in the Champions League. Between them and then Ajax, you have two teams that not only have been good throughout the last couple of years, but really had been hot going in. I think Atalanta, or excuse me, I think it was for Ajax, something like a double-digit goal-scoring game, something ridiculous that they had at the weekend going into playing Liverpool. And the back line have shut down both of those attacks. So certainly looks like it's decent news for Liverpool's defense going into the weekend. But obviously we know what the real is. That's going to be Liverpool against Manchester City, where it's going to be a totally different type of challenge. So going to the weekend against City, now you have an opportunity where you look at Joel Matip. Maybe he's finally healthy. You do have Nat Phillips because he's not on the Champions League roster, but he is available for the Premier League, and he looked really damn good at the weekend past. And then you do have a bit of a question of whether or not you want to have Reece Williams in there. So, gentlemen, if you're picking your back line, obviously you don't have Virgil van Dijk. Let's go ahead and assume that Fabinho is out. Let's say Joel Matip is one of the guys you can make for a selection. Who do you go with for Liverpool at the back in this upcoming clash with Manchester City?
David, can you take this one? My anxiety can't take this shit. So
of course it can't.
I think that the sensible pick, what you want to say, just based on his experience, is Joel Matip.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is a guy who's breaks very easily. And he's coming off an injury that's had him out for a while. My thought is, don't force him back into a game of this intensity on his first step back, because I'm afraid that he'll just end up right in the same place. Bring him back after the international break. He's had more training sessions under his belt. He'll be ready to go. And I don't remember who we're playing out the international break, but it ain't Man City. So it'll be a little bit of maybe a less intensity of a game, certainly for the center backs at least. My thought is go with Phillips. I think he showed last week that he stepped up in a Merseyside derby in the FA Cup last year, had a fantastic game and helped us keep a clean sheet. Last week, I thought he was fantastic again. This could be his moment. And it's kind of one of those things like, hey, kid, you want to play at the highest level? Well, this is it. Like, this is the highest level football game on the planet right now is Liverpool, Manchester City. It doesn't get more high level than this. So if you can raise your game and get out there, and I think if he's got Henderson, I'm hoping Thiago, and maybe Wijnaldum in front of him, I mean, that's a really good midfield to have in front of him. With Gomez and those two fullbacks and that goalkeeper, I think he'd probably be fine. And when you get late in the game and, there's a lot going on and you just need that guy to boot it out, he is that sort of like, even the way he moved last week kind of reminded me of Jamie Carragher at times. And I'd probably go with Nat Phillips for this one, just because also it's a lot to put on Reece Williams as such a young kid. Phillips has at least played. He's done stints on loan. He played at Stuttgart last year, helped him get promoted, or well, at least in the beginning half of the first half of the season he was there. But he, for all intents and purposes, I'm pretty sure he had a pretty good loan. So he's had more games under his belt at high level. He's played in big games for us. It's just, like I said, the FA Cup game. So is it a big game? But it was Everton. It's a derby.
It was a derby, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just go with Nat Phillips and kind of see where it goes. And that could be a barometer for like what we all kind of think of as his ceiling. Because if he goes in there and he struggles for that one, you go, okay, can beat West Ham. But City, probably not. But at least you'll know. I mean, again, he's young. He's 23 or 24. I think he's 23.
Which makes him the same age as Joe Gomez, by the way, guys.
Yeah, and we have to remember all the time that Joe Gomez is just a very experienced youngster, but he's still a kid. And as center backs go, they don't generally hit their prime until like 26,
Later prime,
20,
right?
26 to
26,
28
27.
in that
Yeah.
range. So he's still got a few years left, but I think this would be a great experience for him. And look, I think we're good enough to beat them. We've seen them struggle. We've seen that they're not what they're not. This isn't the Centurions we're talking about.
No.
This is, they're good. They're still a very good team, but this is not the Manchester City you think of when you think of, Pep City.
Right.
They're in a little bit of a different mode, and I think that just the rest of our lineup being what it is, we can definitely compete with these guys. So I go with Nat Phillips.
Yeah, talking to John Ashley during the week, member of the Maine Road Ramble, Manchester City, USA-based podcast. They really don't have a good feel of who they are right now because they do have some injuries. Manchester City with Sergio Aguero, it's been tough getting him going. Gabriel Jesus, he's been injured, and they also kind of don't trust him as the number 9. They think he's a little bit better playing off on the wing. So Manchester City, I'm not going to say that this is a good time to get them, but they're not at full strength right now. So that'll kind of temper the way that this game goes. But Andrew, I mean, I do think that you kind of have to look at this and think you go as senior as you can if you get that choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, this is a good, anytime Aguero is not playing, it's a good time to get City. That's the way I see it. And also, look, if what's his name, Jesus is playing, again, it's not the West Ham striker. It's not that traditional number 9 or nothing, but again, it's not Aguero. So I think Phillips can put on a Jamie Carragher impression and do us right. But that being said, I mean, obviously, if we could have fictional powers, I would just sign Baby Yoda and he would force power everybody, and then we'd be fine. No goals conceded. Right?
No, I'm putting Mando at the back.
Yeah. Or one or the other, both of them in tandem. I don't know.
That's
Baby
a great
Yoda
pairing.
Like
actually.
the goal line,
yeah.
he would make the goal line save, like, no, ball, don't come in. No, all jokes aside, though, I think from that standpoint, don't get me wrong. If Nat Phillips plays, I won't be surprised, but I would obviously prefer Joel Matip to play. I mean, this is a man that's won the Champions League final, had an assist in the Champions League final. The man's played City before, all these things. It would just make my anxiety go way, way down. That being said, look, again, I'll go back to Rodgers or something. He had an interview years ago where he basically said, like, yo, young players will run through a brick wall for you sometimes, right? And Phillips is 23, but if he plays, it will be his second Premier League start. So to all intents and purposes, he might as well be 17 years old, 18 years old, like Curtis, or 19 or whatever. So he might run through a brick wall. Sure, he might make mistakes, but at the end of the day, he could have like just this crazy moment of just man of the match performance, i.e., like he did against West Ham. Again, two different performances or two different teams. But again, we'll see. Obviously, you all know me. My anxiety is not ready for this shit. I mean, we've had an election this week. We have this game at the weekend. I don't know what to do. My coffee machine broke.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my life right now. So that being said, though, if Jota keeps playing, hell, I'm hot take here. If Bobby Firmino starts, I think we still have a hell of a chance. I think he bags a goal. So for me, it's a bit weird. Like, I'm anxious, but I'm also very positive. It's like the United States right now. Like, I want to vote for Biden, but I also want to vote for Trump. Like, I'm in the middle right now. It's like
you are the undecided voter.
I'm in the undecided. It makes no sense.
You're the one. The one.
Yeah, I'm the one undecided voter because for me, it's yeah, man. Because like the way we performed during the week in the Champions League in Italy, it's like we'll score against these, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Ederson is great and all, but like their fans, they still don't know what they're doing. They're suspect. I mean, God's sake, they lost to Leicester, right? So Leicester's a good team and all, but my point is they can be got at, as you said earlier. Yeah. So, we'll see, but I don't know. I just don't know. Get back to me. Let me dwell on this a little
bit. But they do set up actually kind of favorably to Liverpool, actually, similar to what you saw with Atalanta, where they're playing for chances they're
Sure,
going to
sure.
concede chances, and they're okay with that. They're not going to hold on to the ball and spray it all over the place and take 20 minutes to try to get a goal. They're going to try to get as many shots off as they can.
And let's not forget as well. Listen, the last time we played these guys at the Etihad, we were hungover. We had just won the title. We had the honor guard. Listen, I think the homies are gonna be like, "Yo, that didn't do us justice. Let's show them what's up." So let's show them that we won this title. This is that moment we can make a statement and say, "Look, for me, if we beat these, if we make a statement, we win 3-1. I'm gonna call it. League's done. We won." Like that.
I feel like this is not the year to be making these kinds of claims that are.
This is the 40 goal Jota claim. This is I know it makes no sense, but listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Hold on. I know I'm the exact opposite. This is like uncharacteristic of me, but listen to what I'm saying. If we win 3-1, 4-1, some shit like that, this is that statement to the rest of the league that like F that noise that Virgil van Dijk's gone, blah blah blah. We beat the challengers. Away. I understand there's no fans, but if we beat these, basically, if we dick them, that's it. Jurgen Klopp's got the mentality in the side. They clearly watched The Last Dance. They listened to what I said, and then we're gonna go through. Not that we're gonna win the league by 100 points or some nonsense, but we'll be able to go through this tough period without the big man, and we'll be fine, dude. Like I think it's one of those games that can change our season depending on the way it goes. That being all said, if we get a draw, I'll be made up for it too. So like, because a draw away at the Etihad, fantastic point. Because again, we know based on this season, we don't need to get 97 points or whatever it was to win the league. Based on math, that's not going to happen.
All right, so we got you on record basically saying that the Premier League is going to be decided before the U.S. Presidency. So good on you.
You know what I heard him jinx us on? The year's going to get canceled now because he said the league's done.
No.
Corona league canceled.
Get out of here. No. Too much money involved. Premier League is not going to cancel the fucking league. No. Get out of here. No. Listen, right. Don't kill my.
They'll wait until we're in February and we're about to fucking win it, and then they're like, "League's done, null and void."
No, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Listen,
that would be the way 2020 rolls over.
What's that phrase? Don't rain on my parade, David. Don't do it. This is the one time that I'm like super irrational and like not anxious and blah blah blah. This is with the statement. Take it to the bank. Take it to Vegas. Take it to whatever. However, I've been drinking, so maybe take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. You decide.
All right, so you're saying this is a title decider in checks notes November. Okay, cool. So we've got a big game coming up at the weekend nonetheless, though, with Liverpool and Manchester City. Guys, I mean, obviously this is one we could talk about all night, but let's just kind of get into a little bit of a settled thought going into the weekend, right? So let's hear it. I want to hear your starting 11 and who's going to win the game, and just give me a brief why that team wins. David, let's see what you got.
Starting 11, I'm going to say that it's so Allison, Phillips, and Gomez at the back with Trent and Robbo. Your midfield three of Henderson, Wijnaldum, and I'm going to say Thiago.
Yes.
I'm going to say this day makes his return, I hope. I'm just like I'm wishing it into existence.
Manifesting.
Not that the other players that have played have been bad by any means. Curtis Jones has stepped in admirably, but I'm gonna say Thiago plays this one. And then I think it's gonna be your usual front three with Mo, Salah, and Mo, Firmino, and Mane. And I think that we pull it out 2-1 in a real. It'll be like 2-0, and then we'll concede one late and make it interesting.
Bernardo Silva comes on in the 85th minute, and he scores right away.
Oh, no, he gets red carded. Gets red carded, but they get a penalty for some BS
and then he makes
reason.
This like tweet.
Oh, because VAR gets involved and gives them a penalty, and so we win 2-1. But I honestly do think right now we are the better side. I think we're just in better form. I think that this team always amazes me with its ability to deal with adversity. They're just such a resilient bunch, and they seem to be motivated by moments where adversity really comes into focus. And people were saying at the beginning of the week, I mean, people within our own fan base were posted on message boards, things like, Atalanta and City in 1 week. Oh, this could be an ugly week and blah, 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 because we hadn't been playing all that great. And here we are 5-0 through the Champions League, and it would not surprise me to see this group go, everybody chill the F out. Watch this. And just go and do something. And, you're never going to blow them out at City. You're not going to go there and win 5-0. But going there and winning 2-1 in a very controlled manner would be a real statement. And I think that, that's kind of my prediction. I just think that that's who these guys are at this point. They're consummate professionals and just always seem to put their heads in the right space. So 2-1 Liverpool.
Well, no, and it's just funny to hear you mention we need a number 9. We need to get a true striker in there. Liverpool fans have been saying the same thing. It's always funny for these teams at the top. It's never to a point where it's all right, the squad's good enough, we're good. You're always going to have that insatiable appetite of, well, we could improve this, we can improve that. So it is funny for me to hear you say the same thing, because you're literally saying the same thing that Liverpool fans have been saying, well, Salah, I don't know, he's a decent finisher, not good enough. Of course, to rival fans, that sounds absolutely ludicrous. But when you watch your guys week in and week out, you kind of get that different perspective than others will have.
I can also see where you're coming from too. It's not necessarily that City need a Haaland. Haaland is the dream, right? But City need a Haaland type of player. They need someone who is tall, who is physical, who can offer just a different dynamic to the 5'3" guys who do all the fancy stuff faster than anybody else, but then can't get on the end of their head of a perfect cross from Kevin De Bruyne because they don't have the height. Same thing with Trent Alexander-Arnold, I imagine. The number of balls that come in, that if you had someone who was 6'4",
no, not a target man in there, exactly.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's I can see why we kind of feel like we have similar problems, but maybe both teams just don't play that way, and we just want them to, because that's the kind of Route 1 football that we were used to.
Listen, man, to piggyback on David's point of this mentality and so on, this is what I was maybe trying to get at in the previous question about how this could be a title decider. Because for me, it's right now the team is very much like an underdog team right now. I know it makes no sense because we're top of the table. Because if, in other words, you can make the argument that Klopp could say, look, guys, the world thinks that because of Virgil van Dijk, we ain't got shit. So we have this us against the world mentality. And here's the thing, whether that's true or not, he can use that to galvanize his team in a way that maybe some people prior to the season would have doubted. Because that's the one thing that worried me prior to the season. I think I've said this on the podcast, is their motivation. Listen, they won the Champions League, they won the Premier League. What motivates you to keep going, to get to second? You know what I mean? Or, so for me, it's this injury. It's like the movie Avengers. Coulson dies. It brings the Avengers together, and they defeat Loki. Loki is a Premier League title, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. So for me, this is an opportunity for that. It could happen. That being said, I've been drinking. This possibly makes no sense. If I listen to this back later on, I'm gonna be like, Andrew, what were you saying? It is what it is. It happens.
Well, first off, the Premier League trophy is definitely vibranium, which Liverpool have now acquired. They've made a whole, costume out of it. So they've got their suit. So they're good to go. Problem is they don't have all of the stones right now. So that's where Liverpool
they don't
have them all at the same time. They've only got 3.
No, for sure. Sure. Okay. I wish we could have wrapped Virgil
van Dijk's
knee in vibranium. Huh? We got to get all the stones, baby. Got to catch them all Pokemon. That being said, so as far as starting 11, let me answer the question. So I think the back 5 picks itself. Obviously, I think Phillips will play. I think I would prefer Matip. As far as the midfield, the front 3, I think will play as well.
Okay.
The normal front 3. And then I think he's going to go a bit conservative. I think it's Hendo. I think it's Genie. And who else?
Need a third.
I would say Milner, but I can't.
Ooh, you want to go full Brexit?
I want to go like Brexit midfield, like away. Because here's the thing: if we get a point, no
I
problem.
think Milner will feature, but I don't think.
Yeah, I think Milner. No, he won't start. You're right. He won't start. I don't know who starts. Whatever. It doesn't
Milner's
matter.
coming on in like the 70th minute. To kick
Yeah.
somebody
So
in
for
the
me
shin.
though, for me, I don't
That's
think
his role.
Thiago. I don't think Thiago starts, but I
Okay.
think he comes in. I think Jota comes in. I think Jota and Thiago change the game. It's 1-1. It's 1-0. We're losing or we're winning. Whatever. We just go in. We kill the game that way, or we tie it up, or whatever. It is what it is. I don't know, man. I'm not very good at predicting 11s. I really don't give a shit who plays. They're all like, like
It's like picking your favorite children. Yeah.
yeah, it's like
like
picking.
we could be completely wrong, and it's
Yeah,
gonna be
exactly. Like
Jota and
it's
Shaq
asinine to
feature
me. It's like
heavily in
saying,
this.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like saying who's gonna win, Thor or Hulk, like in a fight. I don't give a shit. I like
It'd
them
be
both.
Thor. We already know that.
Yeah, not the point, Darius. Listen to the abstract way I'm talking. All right. So point being is I'm just really excited in terms of the what's the word the like the spectacle of the occasion or whatever it is.
You're up for the big game.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
You're up for the occasion.
Yeah, I'm up for the occasion.
Yeah.
I want to dig these fools, fraudiola, all of it. Listen, like I said, if we pull out a winner, like a massive winner, I'm not talking like 1-0 or some shit. I'm talking unless it's a 1-0 with a controlled performance, like David said. But if we come out and we dig these fools, like I'm telling you, the title's done. I'm telling you, it's done. We won the damn thing. I know you're gonna say, Andrew, you make no sense. And listen, my body's saying I don't make no sense, but I'm telling you, the alcohol is telling me this, and the alcohol tells the truth. So this is what's gonna happen.
It lowers inhibitions. That's for
It
sure.
lowers it. At the same time,
It
like I
must
said
be
earlier,
true.
listen, like I said earlier, if we get a draw, we'll be fine. And even honestly, I even think if we lose, like City will drop points again, so we'll be fine.
I'm not even 100%
We'll
sure
be only
they're
1
the
point
ones we
back
have to
if they
worry
win
about
their
this
game.
year.
Say again.
I'm not even 100% sure that they're the ones we have to worry about this year.
Ooh, that's another conversation.
That is a little bit of a shot. We can get into that on a different show.
Yeah.
But my point is though, a lot of people fear the Red Riding Hood wolf, and they think that wolf is Man City. So that being all said, we'll have that conversation later. But as far as Pep is concerned, this is his last season. Whether he signs a new contract or not, this is his last season for me to prove that he is, not fraudiola for me. To prove it in Europe.
Also, he has to earn your respect.
No, not for me. I'm talking about for the bride.
But
I'm
I
sure
get what
he's
you're saying, though. I
concerned.
get what you're saying, though.
Yeah,
This
for
is
the
like
broader
the
community.
see if the project is worth it, and you're going to keep it
because
going.
here's the thing. This is the time where he's struggling, right?
Mhm.
So we will see what Guardiola and his boys are made of. Listen, Guardiola has had, if he's Elise, the dude, whatever, Pythagoras, there's no royal road to geometry. The guy who, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's had that royal road, right? He's got X amount of dollars every year, blah, 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 like no problems. And this is the time where they're struggling, right? They had that like quote unquote ban that they got overturned or whatever. They lost against Lyon in the Champions League, which they definitely should have won, but due to the arrogance or lack of foresight of Guardiola, they lost. So we'll see what's going on with these players in this squad and the leadership from Guardiola. So for me, this is it. He's had it, it's like he's been a spoiled child, and this is a time where he's like, all of a sudden he's got a stepbrother, and he's got to deal with that shit emotionally and all that stuff. So we'll see what kind of man he is in terms of his career and his legacy and so on. And I think, listen, I don't think he can cope with it. So I think we'll be
See
fine.
what kind of man you are.
We'll see what kind of man you are. I'm being real. Real. I don't know. I'm not trying to be toxic masculine.
No, but I get what you're saying. In the NBA, they
You
call
get
it
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they call it the
Yeah,
blueprint
I get it.
game in the NBA, where they
This
say
is
it's
your
like
time.
this is where the blueprint is on the line, where you got to prove this is worth it. We're going to keep going down this road, or else we're hitting a wall again, and it's the definition of insanity. We're doing the same thing, expecting a different result. That's what you're getting at. That this is where they really prove their worth this season. I understand.
Prove their worth, their mentality, so on and so forth. Because
can
if
they
come
dig
out of the
deep
gate,
and get something out?
Yeah, can they dig deep and all
Sure.
that shit? Because right now they're struggling immensely, and I think they're maybe not broken, but it's kind of like where you're making eggs and like you're at the frying pan and you just like crack them bitches on the countertop. Like they cracked up here, you know? So
I thought that was going to go deeper than that. I thought you were going to get into like runny yolks or.
No, they cracked.
I was looking for a
They're
Brain
just
on Drugs
cracked.
reference.
They're
or
cracked
something.
right now
There you
because
go.
right now they've been a solid egg. They've been in the fridge. They were purchased at like a grass-fed farm or some bullshit for $5.
Are they brown eggs or
farmers
white
market
eggs?
by some woman named
They're
who
definitely
knows
brown.
what
Free
making
range, yeah.
free range,
range.
whatever the hell. So that's
They're
the
not
kind of
bleached.
egg they've been. Now they've been cracked. We'll see how they perform in the frying pan. You know?
So are they scrambled or sunny side up?
Yo, I don't know what Sunny said, whatever that means. But I
think that's an American exclusive. I'm not.
No, I know, and I'm American, which is terrible. But I've been told that I like my eggs over medium.
Over
I don't even know
medium.
what that means.
Okay.
Over medium is the right way to have your eggs. If you're just
Well, then
like,
there you
making
go.
I mean,
eggs.
I go scrambled or omelet. I'm a very
Perfect.
simple guy. Very
It looks
simple.
like I win at life. So if David wins, I win.
All
Darius,
right.
you suck.
Before we sit here and talk about the way we prepare our eggs all night long, I'll go through my starting 11 real quick. I mean, I think.
Yeah, please tell us.
I do think what you guys have both said makes sense, but I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit of both, where it's going to be a transition that happens mid-game, but the way they start off is going to be more conservative. So I'm thinking you go with the more experienced side, which means you take a flyer on Joel Matip, you put him in there with Joe Gomez. Of course, you're going to have Robertson, and you're going to have Trent Alexander-Arnold and Allison. The midfield is where I'm thinking this is going to be a little bit more fun, where we're going to see Holland Genie, because you're going to have Henderson and Thiago in there. Thiago getting to be the playmaker, really make all the decisions, and Genie getting the bomb forward. And then you're starting front three with Bobby, Mo, and Sadio. That's what I'm thinking for the starting 11, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's even at 45 minutes. You get Diogo Jota in there, depending on how the game goes, and maybe even see something like a 4-2-3-1, where you just get the four attackers in there, not taking Bobby off in a straight switch, but getting in that extra attacker. I'm thinking something like that, where Jurgen is going to have something right around the 45-minute switch, or even on the hour mark. But it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining football, at least in the first half, though. I'm thinking both sides are going to be a little conservative. But
Maybe,
as far as score goes, 2-1 sounds about right. I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool.
I can't wait for the Twitter reaction when he doesn't start Jota.
Oh, people are going to lose their minds. I'm looking forward to it.
But then when
How
Bobby
did Jota
scores,
not get
it'll
in?
be
Is this
even
an
more
electoral
interesting
college
to see how they
thing?
react.
What happened?
What?
It's an electoral college thing. That's why Jota's not in. Collusion, conspiracy. Why is he not starting? People are going to lose their minds. People are going to go and lose their ever-loving minds when Diogo Jota is on the bench. But I totally expect that. That's the way that Jurgen Klopp has gone, tried and true and tested. He's going to start Bobby Firmino. I'm convinced of it at this point.
I think it's the right move, personally. I mean, as much as I like Jota and he's the hot hand, I just think that, it's a dance with the one who brought you kind of thing. He's played in this game before. He's played really well against City before. He knows what the game requires. And he's just he has a knack for showing up in big games. He's played well against Arsenal, Tottenham, all these other teams. He's played well, against big teams in Europe. So I say you hand the reins to Bobby. And look, if he has a howler or something, you yank him because you've got him.
You can have a quick hook. Right.
Yeah.
Because, David, we talked about this before we got started, where if you bring in Jota for Bobby Firmino, you're getting a switch in style, in playing style. You can go from being more of a hold-up play or deep-lying playmaker, false nine, to bringing in a dude who can just go and take off and be a burner. It's a change-up as opposed to going with that guy being the way you start and then just go guns a-blazing from the beginning.
Yeah. And, Jota being on the bench, I mean, look, say Bobby's playing really well, but Mo's having a stinker or Mane's having a stinker. You can put Jota on just about anywhere.
Sure.
And, he'll create things. So he adds a lot. I can't believe we got this guy for 41 mil. I love all the memes that are like from Wolves fans back in what was it, late September, and they're
it was like a couple weeks ago. They're like,
Liverpool.
I can't believe they paid so much for him.
Michael Edwards, baby.
That's it. Yeah. So look, yeah, because you guys are right in terms of he comes on in any shape of the form and any form. He's a game changer in terms of he brings something different. That
Right.
again under Rodgers, always like people crying over a quote unquote plan B. It's kind of like that where he's different from other players. So it's not like as you said, Darius, if you bring him on for Bobby, it's not like he's like for like. So you're changing the game by bringing him on a little bit because he adds something different. He has a different, what's the word, dimension or whatever.
A different dimension to that front line. Yeah, because it's not like you're bringing in a like for like switch, which is more ish in line if you bring in Takumi Minamino. By bringing in Diogo Jota, it's like bringing in another Sadio Mane, which
exactly.
I'm a big fan of that.
I have so much time for Mane. I mean, oh my God, we can talk about Mane for days. But that being said, David, I don't remember. I've been drinking. What was your score prediction?
2-1.
2-1. All right. And
yeah,
Darius,
we each had 2-1.
You don't. Okay. Nah, we dick them. 4-1.
4-1.
4-1. It makes no sense. I'm gonna regret this tomorrow, but
no, because you're gonna be a genius when this works out.
Listen, listen, guys. They say I don't know football, but Jota's on the way to 40 goals, baby. He's on the way.
I'm just saying, he scores a goal every 70 minutes at this point. Yeah, you're not being proven wrong so far.
He's on the way, man. They say don't do math. That's it.
How's his new chant go? It's like DIOGO.
We're gonna have to learn that one.
Yeah, I gotta learn it better too.
Oh man, but between him and Thiago, it's been a wonderful start to the season with the new transfers coming in for Liverpool. And just remember, what were we on here like a couple of months ago to the day where we're just sitting like, oh well, if they don't get anybody else, Shimikas, they addressed the backup left back. Well, now they spent a total of 60 million to bring in Thiago and Diogo Jota, and both are looking like revolutionary players in this side. Guys, it's going to be a fun season regardless of what happens in this game. Oh my gosh.
We're 6 games in, we're top of the league. Just have fun
and playing like shit.
And playing like ass.
Not even playing top
form.
Not
really been ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's fun to watch. I just enjoy it because everything else sucks.
Like the world. I can't get a PlayStation 5. The missus
that's the thing we're worried about. Yeah. The PS5.
Yeah, this is like the most enjoyable thing on the planet right now. So just enjoy it.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
All right, guys, this has been a fun one. Andrew, do you want to give a final word?
I got nothing else to say.
But
we're gonna dick them. We're gonna win the league. That's it.
Are we gonna
quote me on this?
Show?
I'm waiting for like a Captain America or Tony Stark speech from you, man. That's what I'm waiting for.
We're just gonna listen, baby. That's it. Just meme this or frame it or whatever you call it in digital speak. Do that because right now I'm going to regret this later on, but we're going to dick them. And because we're going to dick them, we're going to win the league because of that, because we're going to have that mentality to snowball
He's had a lot
forward.
Of rum today.
Huh?
He's had a lot of rum today.
No.
He's feeling good.
Hey.
It's feeling great. I love it.
I'm the opposite of Johnny Depp. I found that fucking rum. The asshole couldn't find the rum. I found that shit.
The rum has never gone on your island, huh?
Hey, are we going to do a live show Saturday or Sunday outside?
I'm always down for that.
Well, we'll have to see what the fans think, but
well, keep an eye out for us on Saturday. We might be doing a little thing on YouTube.
If for nothing else, we will be represented for the upcoming event. David, I know you're going to be there. Andrew, I know you're going to be there, and Diogo Jordan, even though he's not on this one, is certainly talking about being there for it on Sunday. So we're gonna be represented in some capacity. And I mean, it seemed like it went off pretty well for the Everton game. So a second live event for Tampa Bay Cop Talk. I mean, it should be a pretty good one.
Always. Yeah. And then we could be 2-0 and whatever. I don't know. Things be great. Now I'm regretting everything I just said.
No regrets.
Oh my God.
Nah.
No regrets.
Yes.
YOLO, baby.
No YOLO. No regrets. I'm just gonna give you my credit card next time I see you. Just take it. YOLO.
All right, boys. This has been a fun one. I'm Darius.
I'm David.
I'm Andrew. Bye.
This has been Tampa Bay Cop Talk. Up the Reds. Let's get these 3 points. See you next time. See you Sunday.